Welcome back to the KCC. This is week 2, and I am going to be going up against Chu, coach of the Baltimore Raidraptors. Both of us went 1-0 in the first week. And yeah, this is going to be an interesting matchup because Chu is a good friend of mine, and he also did pretty well drafting. And as you can see, Chu drafted Phantom Knights, Raidraptors, Brigands, Time Fumes, Mathmex, Gaia, Called by the Grave, Alpha the Master of Beast, Dimensional Bearer, and Lightning Storm. This is going to be a tough matchup, mainly because of Lightning Storm. Since I really do like going first and send like a bunch of back row, if he opens Lightning Storm and gets rid of it, that could be tricky. And then he also has Called by the Grave for my Ash and my other hand traps that I like to run just standardly in the main deck because I don't want to be screwed if I lose rock, paper, scissors. And yeah, but he is basically running a rank 4 spam, so I do have some text for that. And yeah, let us get into the matchup. So in the first match, game 1, I am playing Generators, and he decided to bring Time Thieves. Decided to lead off with Generators, mainly because of Heart, stopping him from keeping on getting resources to possibly spam those XZs rank 4. And yeah, I do lose the first rock, paper, scissors, and he does want to go first, but at least I do open my Ash, so I can stop Time Thief Regulator from doing anything. But he does have the Phantom Knights Shade, and then he can also use his Raidraptor to then create Redoer, and of course get Adjuster on the field. Basically, you have to use Pot of Extravagance to try and get stuff going, but of course with Redoer on the field, he can just keep on bouncing my boss stage to my deck. Luckily for me, he did not decide to take the boss stage, but it wouldn't have mattered because he did it on my turn and there was a second one. Well, I guess it would have mattered if he did it for both. So basically I am screwed here because I just have a bunch of level 9s in my hand and one boss stage that I really need to get off. And he just keeps on taking my boss stage. And it is looking like this is going to be game because I cannot draw any of my lower leveled starter monsters. He Cosmic Cyclones my boss room, which is useless without a Generaider monster on the field, and he swings for game. Going into game 2 of this match, I don't really change much. I side out my my Lone Fire Blossom package and a different level 9 that is not the Generator for the Floodgate and the band played on, which stops my opponent from summoning multiples of the same level. I do not see it, but I do get to see Condemned Witch and Boss Stage, as well as World Legacy Monstrosity, and I am able to set Chalice, World Legacy Monstrosity, and Boss Fight. With that, even though he tries to cyclone my boss stage, I am able to place another one and then get Heart on the field with 3 tokens. He tries to activate his Phantom Knight. I try to use my Condemned Witch to get Lofter, but he stops that with Called by the Grave, which is really good. And of course, I will then use Monstrosity to get out Boss of Swords to sacrifice it to try and pop the Redoer, which forces him to activate his effect to try and banish, which I then stop with Harp. He plays Prohibition, calling boss stage, but this is basically over since I do basically have enough damage for a game now. And yeah, so I win the second game of this match. So going to game 3 of this match. Of course, he wants to go first. I do side out my the button played on for it was Santa Claus. Hopefully to get something to sacrifice for in case he creates another Redoer, or if he somehow goes into the giant Raidraptor, Ultimate Falcon, as he is basically doing right here with his Raidraptor climbing. He does create Rusty Bardiche. Sadly, I don't really have any hand shots for this. Luckily for me, he just ends on Force Trick and Bardiche. Of course, using Axdraft to try and get cards. Making sure that I do have 2 boss stages in case he decides to pop it. Try to use Lopter to get out Harp. But he does use his rank up magic to create the satellite cannon, destroying all of my spells. But luckily I do have a second boss stage. But here I do make a mistake because I sort of was out of it when playing this. And I was thinking that Lopter was still in my grave, but he did banish it with Called by the Grave. So I was going to revive it with... but of course it's not in the grave, so can't do that. Should have brought out Heart to stop any effect. But yeah, this is looking pretty bad. Do have to get my tokens out on his field. He does create Dark Rebellion and pops my boss stage. Luckily for me, I do not die to this damage, but it is going to be really hard with only 400 HP and no boss stage, so of course have to do Condemn Witch into Chalice, set the Chalice, and then I will use Witch for Lopter, and then sacrifice Lopter for my big boy Generator Boss of Fire, because he cannot use his Dark Rebellion's effect anymore since he doesn't have any materials. And if he decides to swing into me, I can then Forbidden Chalice to give me enough attack to beat over it. Unfortunately, he has his own Forbidden Chalice to increase his attack, and I get bodied. Use Salah's effect to get back the only generator I have left. And yeah, that is the match / game, meaning I lost the first match 2-1. So with that in mind, going into match 2, I kind of want to win this, so I am going with my Subterror deck. Once again, I lose the rock, paper, scissors, which isn't good. This time he is playing his Raidraptor deck. Basically, they're all the same deck, though. It's just slightly different ratios, so they fit the thing. Set Fiendus, as well as set Book of Moon, and there can be only one. For some reason, in my brain, I thought Book of Moon... when you booked a moon, a Xyz monster has lost its material. So kind of a waste of a Book of Moon there. But I do activate there can be only one, but he does have the Cosmic Cyclone deck to get rid of it. And this is going to look like a loss. He creates White Strick. I don't Ghostborner that because he does have another Raidraptor on board to continue his plays. Anyways, I am saving it for a moment. which is here because I know this is probably my best bet to stop his plays, but for some reason it did not give me the option to Ghost Mourner it, which I'm like, why? Why can't I Ghost Mourner it? Still don't know. If anyone in the comments knows why it wouldn't let me Ghost Mourner it, please tell me. And yeah, so he is able to activate that to get Stranger Falcon. And this is basically game since I just have a Fiendus on field, as he can just keep on climbing until he gets big boys, and I can't really do anything with just a Subterror Cave Flash in my hand against a Ultimate Falcon and a Reader and everything else that he puts on board. And he OTKs me. Bop. Going into game 2 of this match. Of course, I am going first, citing out a bunch of my hand traps for floodgates, such as And the Band Played On and Shadow Imprisoned Mirror. I start off with Pot of Duality, picking up There Can Be Only One. And of course set 3 floodgates that he can't really work around with his decks, and he is basically forced scoops since he does not well, he has to stall until he can get back row removal, but since he has a bunch of back row himself, he can't use Lightning Storm, and basically I will Guru Nemesis Archer him to make sure that he can't do anything. Of course, using Final Battle to get an extra draw. Using Guru to flip face down, flip Nemesis, and then Guru. Keep on adding Venus to my hand just so that I have tricks in case he does somehow get some wild thing to knock me out. And of course, 2 final battles just so that I can beat him, but he does scoop since he can't get around my floodgates. Going into game 3 of this match, I decide to know I am going second, and that Redoer and Ultimate Falcon will be problems, so I do decide to side out my floodgates for Santa Claus and Lava Golem, but I do forget to side out my Pot of Duality because for some reason, like I said, I was kind of out of it during these matches. My monkey brain was like, they're tributes, and so I do brick hard with 2 Pot of Dualities and a Santa Claus, and with my 1 Subterror Behemoth monster in my deck, and with only There Can Be Only One. And of course he does climb into his Ultimate Falcon eventually. As well as Bardish on the field. And a Shadow Shade Burgundian face down. So basically, I have to get the top deck of my life if I somehow draft or draw Guru. I should be fine, but I just draft Ash Blossom, which is another brick since he's already established his board, so I can only set Santa Claus and set There Can Be Only One, and have to scoop because he does not have anything that are the same type. Anyways, and that is the game. And match number 2, meaning I lost this one 2-1, which means I do lose the week. So after this, I didn't really care anymore, so we both agreed to play with our tier 4 decks, his Gaia and mine Aromage, just for fun. I do start off nicely with Evil Form combo to get basically my full board of Jasmine, plus the sweet Mandarin. Basically standard Aroma plays. Use Marjoram for Blessed Winds to eventually get regular Marjoram, basically giving myself full targeted protection and battle protection. But he does have a Lightning Vortex, which is non-targeting destruction, which is very unfortunate for me. I'm assuming he did originally start off with playing the Alpha, the Master of Beast, not knowing that he can't target my monsters with effect. But yeah, with this on board, it's going to be kind of hard to continue my plays, but I will use Jasmine to hopefully draw something really good. But I don't. But I do have my Aroma Garden, and since he is attacking with something that is really big, I will be able to get my Bergamot on the field, and yeah, just trying to set up a board. But he does, of course, do have the Alpha to bounce my monster back to my hand. At this point, I am just trying to stall, set my Spore for future turns, try and burn him down, because if he does destroy my Spore, I can just revive it for possible synchro plays later. He does try and search something with his Bombarding Catapult Turtle, but luckily for me, I did have Ash Blossom in hand. So yeah, trying to burn my opponent down. Use my Spore to get Rosemary. Bring back the Spore to sacrifice for Bergamot, and basically try and boost my attack super high. Sadly, I do not have more life points, so I do not have piercing. But here, try and get some plays with Jasmine to eventually get myself protection again, full protection with a bunch of HP. But he does have the Lightning Storm trying to destroy my back row, so of course have to use Blessed Winds to try and set up my strongest possible board. And yeah, he has to scoop because he cannot beat my board with all my life points. Going into game 2 of this match. Actually, he did win rock, paper, scissors in the beginning of this match and accidentally clicked going first, even though he wanted to go second, which really helped me out. But this time, of course, making me go first. Sadly, I do not have any sort of combo since I started with my one Bergamot and, well, not full combo, but somewhat of a combo with Rosemary. Using Angelica to sacrifice for my Princess Autumn's. Basically setting up so that if he does have something big, he has to attack my Autumn Leaves, and then I can get a monster back. Luckily for him, he does start off with his basically full combo. Getting into Gaia, the Magical Dragon Champion, that can attack twice. And he did negate my effects, which means he didn't have to attack my own leaves first, but that's fine because I can search for my Lone Fire Blossom. But he does still have an effect to lower his attack to destroy my monster. I draw Ash Blossom, which I guess is sort of fine since it allows me to stall. And this is looking like it is going to go to game 3. Mainly because I've run out of materials in my hand, and Aromages aren't really good at recovery. They are only good at setting up an initial board and trying to stall. But he got around that, and yeah, have to scoop since he is just going to summon another big boy and swing for game. Game number 3. Of course, I want to go second. he does not open anything good, but neither do I. I just open a bunch of back row of healing and whatnot. Probably should have saved one of these cauldrons as well as Aromage Gardening, because I do know he's running Lightning Storm, but I was kind of being a bit risky. And of course he does Lightning Storm my entire back row, which is unfortunate, but he doesn't have any plays himself. I am using Rose Princess for the field spell, baiting out the MST, because he probably thought that I was going to special summon the monster for free and then summon another monster, but in actuality I was baiting the MST so that I could play my Aromage Garden without him worrying of destroying it, so that I can continue to special summon my monsters. He uses Charging I use Blessed Wind to return the princess to my deck and gain some life points, using Aromage Garden to summon Angelica. Probably should have summoned Rosemary to change it to defense mode, but yeah, Human Wood, adding cards to my hand, try and get enough resources to continue to play, but he basically goes super combo to get enough bodies on the board to basically swing for game. And yeah, that is game 3, match 3. Lost that one 2-1, which means this week I do end up going -3 differential. So overall I am 1-1 +2 differential. So not the kind of start I wanted, but I did lose all 3 rock, paper, scissors. Yeah, so hopefully next week I can win my rock, paper, scissors, as I am going up against Shadow Glade, coach of the New York Manifolds, in our first cross-divisional matchup. So catch you for that. Bye-bye.